Good afternoon, team. It's a beautiful day here in Vancouver. My name is Johnathan. I'm the fitness manager from Club 16 downtown. Today I'm going to take you through round 3 of my yoga practice. Today we're going to do a sun salutation A. It's going to help us to warm up, get those muscles fired up, work through that flexibility. Then we're going to move on to warrior 1, 2, 3, and then eventually we're going to get down to the ground where we're going to open up through our knees and our ankles. Alright, grab your mat and let's get started. Okay, so to begin today's practice, we're going to start with sun salutation A. Firstly, we want to check in with our body. We're going to start at our feet, that's our foundation. So let's activate those 4 points. Our big toes, little toes, the inside and the outside of our heels. Slightly bend the knees, tucking in through our tailbone. We're going to engage, tucking in that belly underneath the ribs. Slowly just roll the shoulders back as we open up our chest. Lengthen through our neck as we gaze slightly just below eye level. Now we're in the mountain pose. Let's take a second to get our breath control. Taking a deep breath in. As we breathe in, we're expanding through the ribs. We're letting our heart flow to the top, traveling all the way down to our pelvis. Exhale through the mouth. One more deep breath through the nose. Expanding through your belly, opening the ribs. Exhale. Beautiful. We're going to take an inhale, come up nice and tall, spread out through the fingertips. Coming from our heels all the way to our toes, our shoulders open up as we come up into that upward salutation. Exhale, we're going to swan dive down as we come down to the floor, let the neck drop, fingertips down. Inhale, we're going to come up into a half bend or half fold. You can place your arms onto your knees, our back is nice and straight. Exhale, we're going to come back down. Beautiful. As we slightly bend the knees there, we're going to place our palms to the ground. Take a step back. We'll start with our left to begin with. We're coming into that high plank there. From here, inhale. We're going to drop down to a chaturanga as we come down. Exhale. And then from there, I'm going to show you both versions. But the first version we can start with is a cobra. So as we inhale, we're going to come up, relaxing our legs down by the side. We're going to pull our shoulder blades back. Our neck is nice and long, it's not crunched up together. Beautiful. So that's the easier version. Then you can come into a downwards dog from there. First I'll show you the harder version, upwards dog. Inhale, come up nice and strong. We can look up, gaze up to the sky. Untuck the toes. We're going to exhale, pushing our chest towards our knees. So if you find this is quite difficult here, you can bend your knees a little bit. So if you have very tight hamstrings, that way you can allow your chest to get closer to those thighs. Obviously, if you have very good flexibility in your hamstrings, you can straighten them out. Let's hold it here for 3 inhales, exhale. One last breath. Beautiful. We're going to return to that plank. Inhale. Take a step forward with that left leg. Our right leg follows. Exhale. We're going to come to a forward fold. Inhale, back up to a half fold. Keep your legs straight, our back is straight. Exhale. Beautiful. Let's come back up. Inhale, nice and tall. Upward salutation. Spread the fingertips. Open up through the shoulders. Gaze towards our thumbs. As we exhale, we're going to come down to that center with our palms in front of our heart. Now we're going to repeat the process. We're going to do the opposite side. We're going to go a little bit faster this time. Inhale, let's come up, sun, upward salutation. Open the shoulders, gaze towards the front. Exhale, forward fold. So touch down to that floor. From there, inhale, we come up to a half fold, half bend. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, take a step back with the right. Once we place our palms to the floor, into that high plank. Inhale, down, chaturanga. Exhale, and then from here, inhale, upwards dog. Gaze up nice and tall. Again, you can be in that cobra. Untuck the toes. Exhale, we push the weight of our chest right towards our knees. Feel free to hold it here for 3 breaths. You can slightly bend the knees so you can allow that chest to get closer to your thighs. And exhale, let's come back to that plank. Inhale. And then we're going to take a step forward with that right leg. As we exhale into a forward fold. Inhale, back to that half bend. Legs are straight, really work for those hamstrings. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, let's come back up nice and tall. Spread the fingertips. Gaze towards our thumb. Exhale back down to that center in front of our heart. And relax. There you go, sun salutation. Move on to the warrior sequence. First we'll start with a warrior one. These are going to be leg burners, so you're going to start to feel in your thighs and your glutes. Okay, so I like to start this warrior one in a downward dog position or a running lunge. So let's come down onto our knees to begin with. This just helps us define the position. From there, let's have our toes tucked in there. We're going to take an inhale. Exhale, let's push back to that downward dog. Chest towards your knees. Beautiful. From here, let's return to a plank position. Now from here, let's start with our left side first. What we're going to do is we're going to take a step forward with that leg, placing it down to the center. Now that back leg, what I'm going to do is we'll make sure our left is nice and straight. But our back leg, imagine we're not on a tight road here, so we're going to have a little bit of width in the back there. Straighten that leg out. The heel and the ball are nice and flat to the floor. From here, let's keep the hips nice and straight. As we come up, we're going to engage the quads, the thighs there, the inside, the outside. And that back leg is nice and straight. We slightly bend as we come down into it. Now you can place your arms just there on the side of your hips to begin with. Keeping our back nice and straight. Make sure that that front leg is grounded. So those the inside of the heels and the big toe and the little toe are activated there on both feet. From here we can inhale, come up tall. Gaze up to the thumbs, exhale, we sink a little bit deeper to come into that warrior one position. Nice, strong, broad shoulders. And then we can exhale, come down, slowly sink the heart down to our knee. As we return, we can straighten that leg back up. We're going to take that back, push back into that downward dog with an exhale. Beautiful. So this pose you can hold for around 5 breaths or 30 to 60 seconds. Beautiful. Now we're going to come forward into that plank. Take a step forward with that right leg. From here, we're keeping that leg nice and square. The back leg comes planted to the floor. We're not on a tight road, so we want to have a little bit of width there. And then once you're nice and stable there, we're going to gently rise up, keeping that leg strong, back leg straight. Engage those thigh muscles. Sink into that position. Inhale. Feel free to keep it there with your hands. Make sure your hips are nice and square so you're looking directly straight ahead. From here we come up, stretch up nice and tall, exhale. We're going to sink down lower into that knee. Open up those shoulders, nice and broad, fingertips stretched. And exhale, we can slowly come back down as we rest our heart down to our knee. Now bring that leg straight. Now we're going to come forward into a forward fold there. Big exhale. Just really stretch it out. Finish with that warrior one. Slowly reset the spine as we gently come back up and release. Okay, we're on to the next pose. We're coming on to that warrior two. Nice strong bowl pose. We're going to do, again, let's take that left leg. We're going to take a step to the front of the mat there. Bring that right leg back. Now you want to step about 3 to 4 feet apart there. Nice wide stance. That back leg is going to be out on that 90-degree angle. That front leg is directly straight ahead. Our front hip is looking straight ahead. We're stretching out through the center there. Now inhale, we're going to come with our arms up tall. Right at our shoulder height. Take a look at the back just to check to see they're in line there. We're going to gaze towards our middle finger. As we exhale, I want you to sink deeper in as you bend down towards that knee. So we hold into that strong, bold warrior pose. Let's hold it there for about 5 breaths. You can sink deeper and deeper as you get further through the pose. Let's go for 2 more. Remember, you can go at your own pace. Sink a little bit deeper. And exhale, let's gently return. We're going to bring those legs to the center there. The feet are facing forward. We're going to take it to the opposite side now. So let's bring that opposite leg there, the right leg, the left leg at 90 degrees. That right leg, you're going to gently start to slightly bend, bring the arms up. Check the shoulders, check the distance. That hip is nice and square. Really open up through that hip. Now as we exhale, we're going to sink down a little bit deeper. Come down deep. Gaze into that middle finger in the front there. You're a strong, powerful warrior. Let's come down a little bit deeper with each breath. Good. Last 2 breaths. And last one. And slowly return as we gently calm those legs. We can gently step back into the center and release. Alright team, we're going to move on to the hardest warrior pose, the warrior pose 3. So a little bit more intermediate. It's really going to test your balance, strength and stability in that thighs, and also just to activate and work those glute muscles. So first of all, let's take a step forward with that left leg. I'm going to come into that warrior 2 pose, warrior 1 pose, where we slightly have that left leg tilted forward. And then from there, I want you to activate those 4 points in our foot. We slightly bend our knee as we come up with that back leg. Now feel free just to stay there, holding it there, and just you can slowly work on coming a little bit further each time. Now imagine you're like a T. We're going to focus on the spot where we gaze, just in front of our mat. And then from here, when we come down, we straighten our leg, controlling our breathing as we slowly rise up with that back leg, keep that hip nice and square. From there, we can bring our arms out. Our leg is fully straight, really test the balance. So try to look at that spot. And then from there, whoa. One more time. We're going to come up and coming forward with that hands. So open up the fingertips and then slowly return back to that center. Swap over to the opposite side. So we take that again, not activate those 4 points in that front supporting leg. We're going to gently bend that knee, come up with that back leg. Nice strong stability there. Again, you can just hold it here as you straighten your legs out. Gaze just in front of our mat. We start to slowly rise. Keep the hips square. We can bring the arms out into that T. Keep that gaze spot, controlling your breathing. And then from there, we can bring our arms out to the front. It's that full warrior 3 pose. And exhale, we return back to that center. All right, let's take it low to the floor. We're going to move on into a 3-legged dog and then sequence into a pigeon pose. So you can do these separately or you can do them all in one flow motion. So what we're going to do first is place the palms down the floor. Take a deep inhale, untuck the toes, we push back into that downward dog. Exhale, pushing our chest towards our knees. Now we're going to start with that left leg. What we're going to do is gently bring that leg up. We're keeping those hips square. So we want to make sure they're very square. We're not starting to go off to the side there. And we're imagining we're lengthening out through our foot. So we really push that foot as far away from the body as we can. Really open up that hamstring, that supporting leg. You can hold it here for anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds. Now we're going to exhale, we're going to come forward into a pigeon pose. So what we can do is we're going to bring that back leg and we're going to take it to the front. Really open up through the hips, the groin there. And then this foot here, we're going to bring out nice and wide as our flexibility is going to allow us. Now if this is hurting your knees, I'm going to show you next to eye of the needle, which is going to be an easier pose that you can do on your back. Otherwise you can stay here. Let's try let our body slowly sink down with each breath as we really open up through those hips. The back is nice and straight. Once we got down, we've sunk down deep enough, we can even breathe and come down to the floor. Placing our elbows over the top of each other, our palms over elbows, we can rest our head there. So open up through those glutes. Let's hold it here for about 5 breaths. Keeping that hip square. Beautiful. And one last breath. And release with an exhale. We're going to slowly come back up, rising that chest, that heart nice and tall. Then we gently just untuck that toe. We're going to bring that leg back. Starting that plank. Big exhale. Let's push all the way with that breath into that downward dog. From here, let's bring the right leg up. We're really stretching out through that right leg, pushing that heel as far as we can. Continue to breathe. 3 breaths. Elongate through the leg. And with an exhale, we're going to come forward. Bring that leg right to the front. Open up the hips. Stretch out. Again, let's try to get that toe out to the width of the mat. If we can get our toes out even further, it's going to help as well. So if you don't have the flexibility there, just try to bring it up a little bit with those toes. Sink down low with each breath. We want to keep those hips square. Now we can exhale, we can slowly come down. Keep the square hips, we'll take the arms crossed. As we sink down into that pigeon pose. Holding for 5 breaths in total. Really open up through your glutes, through the bottom. Opening those knee joints. And with an exhale, we're going to slowly raise. Gently return. Untuck the toe. And then gently return back to that plank position. We return onto our knees there. Okay team, so if you found the pigeon pose quite harsh on your knees, I'm going to show you an easier pose, the eye of the needle. It's a very therapeutical pose. What we're going to do is we're going to come down to that floor. Rest your back nice and flat, shoulders are flat. We're going to raise that left leg up. As we exhale, we're going to cross that leg over. We're just placing that right near the knee there, the ankle joint, nice and square. We're going to grab just underneath your kneecap, your thigh. This is the easier version. Slightly easier. Rest your back, nice and flat, the body square. We're gently just applying a little bit of pressure, opening up through the bottom for our glutes. Hold here from 5 to 10 breaths. Again, let's make it harder. You can bring your arms just to the top of your knee there, just to get a little bit of a further stretch. Good job. We're going to release there. Swap over the opposite side. So we're going to bring the other leg up, the right leg nice and straight. Again, cross, keep it square. Our body, our shoulders are flat to the floor, our lower back. Grab behind the thigh if you find that is the most comfortable for you. Or grab to the knee if you want to get that little bit of a further stretch. Let's hold here for 5 to 10 breaths. Beautiful therapeutic stretch, really open up through those bottom muscles. And exhale, we can slowly return those legs to the floor. Well done. Okay, so the next pose we're going to go into is the frog pose. So we're really going to open up through those groins, allow there to get some more flexibility. So first thing first, I like to do the sideways on the mat just so we can get our knees out nice and wide. We have that support with the pressure on our knees. Feel free to use some towels. You can even apply them underneath your knees just so you can have a little bit more support there. So coming down onto all fours, we want to make sure that our hips are sitting on top of our knees. It's very important that our hips are there on top of our knees. Our shoulders are on top of our palms. We're going to place our toes outwards. So the toes are facing outwards. And then from here, we take an inhale to begin with. And as we exhale, I want you to slowly just sink down into that frog pose. As we sit down a little bit lower through the groin there. Now when you're comfortable, we can come down to our elbows. And again, we can just slowly start to open up through the inner thighs, through the groin. We can hold here for 5 to 10 breaths and allow just to stretch a little bit further once you feel comfortable. You can even get down right down to the floor with your chest. Let's finish off with 3 more deep breaths. And last breath. And release from there. We can slowly just come up with the chest, gently walk in with the knees, and relax there. Okay, the last pose I'm going to go into before we finish off some meditation, really good pose to enter into meditation, is the hero pose. Now I've got some towels here and some books. Obviously if you don't have a yoga blanket or yoga block, you can use books, we can use a towel. So what we're going to do is we're going to shimmy our body forward. So we're going to sit those knees so they're just nice and flush in that towel, just to allow support and just to add that raise. We're going to grab our books, and then from here we're going to gently just place them behind the back of the ankles there. We're sitting up nice and tall there. Just engage the heels so they're pressing those books together, and our feet are nice and square there. Now when we come down, what we can do is we can gently just stretch out the flesh of our shins, of our calf muscles, as we sit down onto the books. We're going to come down with our spine nice and straight. We can rest our arms gently on our knees there. Beautiful time to focus on your breath. We can hold the hero pose for 60 seconds. So you may hold it for 5 to 10 breaths. Again, you can also do it without, but you're just going to find there's going to be a little bit more pressure on those knees and those ankles. This is really great to actually open up that flexibility there. Sink down a little bit deeper. Beautiful. Let's finish off with 3 more deep breaths. Breathing in all the way down. You feel your heart rise with each breath. Exhale. Now we're going to gently just come forward with our body, coming up into that seated up position. Beautiful. So now we're going to finish off with some meditation. So you can do this either like in a cross easy position, easy pose, or you can do it laying down on your back. If you like, any way that you'd like to finish off with your meditation for today's practice. Okay, so we're going to finish off with some meditation. So feel free to have your legs crossed and then sit in an easy pose or laying down onto your back. Closing your eyes and take a second to be aware of our breath. So we take a deep breath in, big exhale. We're going to observe the flow, rhythm of the breath. Each breath, you can ask yourself, how are you today? Are you light or heavy? Energetic or tired? We can observe our body without judgment or opinions as we slowly melt into the mat. Now feel free to pause the video here and you can continue your meditation for 5 to 7 minutes. We're going to finish here with one last deep breath. And exhale. Beautiful. Let's gently rise as we come up inside the seated position. Okay, so thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate having the chance to do this each week. I really wish you guys a safe time at the moment. Hope you're keeping up with your training. Remember that feel welcome to do any of these poses while you're around the house. You don't have to do a full workout. You can do 10 minutes at a time or 5 minutes or a couple poses while you're stretching in the kitchen. I really miss, like I say, I really miss the gym, and I can't wait to get back and see you guys. We'll be back. See you soon. Namaste.